Welcome, dollies.
Welcome back. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. I hope it is a happy Monday for you.
Yeah, I know. I've actually continued to work out since the last time we spoke, so I'm feeling pretty good. I feel like it's definitely true when they say, like, if you just get through, like, the first 2 weeks of working out is going to be the hardest, but after that, it comes easier because you're like more in a routine, your body's getting a little bit used to it. Um, but it's true about the energy levels. Like, I just feel so much better throughout my days working out.
Oh,
Yeah, so I got my little protein smoothie because I just worked out before this podcast. What about you?
this week. Um, it's been okay. I have to add one more vomit to the vomit count. So I think we're at five. Um, and it was an awful one. It was a bile one because I literally had nothing. I literally just like got out of bed at 6 a.m. was like, nope, not gonna make it. Gonna vomit. And I had to run. I tried to run to the hallway so that I didn't wake anyone up.
But you're almost 12 weeks, right?
I'm 10 weeks today.
Yeah. So,
So we're getting close. I feel like after 9 weeks and some days, like last week's podcast, I apologize. I look miserable. Like I was watching it and I was like, I look like I'm not listening to you. And I'm just like, why is she talking? But it's not that. It's just I'm trying to just survive, okay? I feel good today. Yesterday I did not feel so good. So it's kind of like on and off. Like some days are like, okay, I could do it. I'm
yeah.
gonna go on a walk today. I took Arkham. We got fast food breakfast this morning. We're also changing our routine. So when Arkham was little, um, my husband worked nights, so it was really tough. We didn't go to bed a lot of the time till after midnight because I had to make sure P got up for work, and I didn't want to go in there to disturb him before he had to
Mhm.
get up. So a lot of the time, Arkham and I did not go to bed till like 12:30, 1 o'clock. So a lot of his life has been a late schedule. Um,
Yeah. You're trying to transition now to going to bed earlier, waking up a little bit earlier.
and then unfortunately, because we're in survival mode right now, there's been more screen time than I like. And then of course it's been snowing like crazy. And I don't feel good. So of course I'm not gonna be like, let's go out in the freaking ice and
Yeah,
risk
I figured.
slipping. My dad did buy us all spikes for our shoes, like little spikes.
Cute.
He
Yeah.
in them and he said they help. I haven't used them yet.
You need them the most, as far as I'm concerned.
For real. Um, so yeah, I didn't even know this my last pregnancy, but I learned this. So apparently a lot of people's morning sickness kind of tapers off around 9 weeks even, if you're
Hmm.
lucky. I mean, it's rare.
Yeah.
But because your body has formed the placenta by then, and
Hmm.
the placenta starts taking over hormone creation versus your
Wow.
body.
So
So in the
interesting.
beginning, you're usually so sick because your body's producing hormones.
Hmm.
So it's kind of interesting. Anybody that I've talked to that like didn't have a lot of morning sickness, they kind of didn't have super healthy pregnancies. So that's interesting, but it's not fun. It's definitely not. Like everybody's like, it's
Yeah.
reassuring. I'm like, is it?
Healthy as in what sense?
Like it's what? I'm sorry.
Healthy, like they didn't have healthy pregnancies, in like what sense do you
So
think?
like somebody that I know, they ended up having the actually a family member. They had to have a C-section because they did not produce enough amniotic fluid. So they had to
Mm.
take the baby early because the baby's like, and then another person in my family also had a baby that was like kind of not growing towards the end. They were monitoring her. She made it to her due date, but they were monitoring her because they were like, the baby doesn't seem to be like making big growths at the end.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting. Um,
Yeah.
but then again, I know a lady that I nannied for, and she was like, obviously, I had no experience in pregnancy then. And she was like, anybody that gets morning sickness is just weak. I'm like,
Oh,
now I'm like, I could strangle her. I could strangle that bitch. Tell me I'm
that's a
weak.
crazy statement.
Yeah, she's like, it's just people that are weak-minded. And I was like, I don't
Oh,
know. But I was like, okay. But she was like of a different culture, so I feel
yeah,
like
maybe
maybe
it's a
it's just,
little different. That's so,
but
she's like, I spit on the wheat.
so where I was like, okay. So then I'm like, I don't want to be near her when I'm pregnant. She's in
Mm.
vomit range. Um, so yeah, it's been so some people stop feeling morning sickness around like 9 weeks in some days, and that's why they say
Mhm.
like 12 weeks is the average.
Yeah.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. I was 20 weeks when I stopped feeling sick with Arkham.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I literally had not vomited. I had not vomited since I was like since December 26th, 2019. That's the last time I vomited, and then I
Yeah,
got
that's
pregnant.
crazy.
Here we are. Um,
Sure.
but yeah, this week's been good. So we're trying to change our schedule to go to bed a little earlier. We turn the screens off at 8, around 8, 8:30, just depending. I mean, if we're watching something. Um, so we've always just gone to bed with Arkham. He obviously will not sleep without me. And I'm not trying to like make it to where he goes to bed at like 8 o'clock and then we like hang out, without him. That would be nice some nights, but I'm just trying to get him like in bed and asleep around like 10 o'clock. And then we've been waking up at like 8:30, in between 8:30 and 9:30. So it's been good.
Good. I'm
It's
glad.
been
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to get myself on a good sleep routine just because I'm trying to work out. Not so much like, oh, every day I have to wake up at 5:45 a.m., but just kind of like taking it one day at a time, depending if I have to go into the office, depending, what the workout routine is going to be. So we've made it to 2 weeks. Also, I successfully made the homemade dog food. Did I share that last time? I don't know if I
I
did.
feel like maybe you did because I feel like you've been making it for almost 3 weeks now.
Almost, yeah. So I'm still doing that. She seems to be loving it, so
No,
thrilled.
not up
Um,
in this house, not for a few more weeks.
so I
Maybe
said,
after the baby's born.
yeah, yeah, seriously.
Can't hang.
Yeah, but other than that, not much. I know some of the fires are still going on, but
And a new one.
it's not a new one. It's the same Santa Clarita one or the one near Santa Clarita, the Hughes fire. That one was there when the Palisades and the Eaton fire was going
Oh,
on, but it was just small. And then it got like crazy and like in the background.
I
Um,
did not realize that.
so it's the Hughes fire, and that one it's in Castaic,
Yeah,
but
that's an insane way to say it. I love how you say it.
how's it said?
Castaic.
What did I say?
Castaic.
Wait, what did you say? I feel like you're
Castaic.
saying the same thing.
Okay. I said castaic. And then I feel
Oh,
like you said
Castaic? Like a
castaic.
steak? I think
Yeah,
it's
like a
Castaic. On my end, it sounded like the same thing.
oh my gosh.
Um, yeah, so it just got big, I think, like because I think it's
Hmm,
kind of windy and it just picked up, but it's supposed to
that's
rain
odd.
today and tomorrow and the next day.
Oh, that
So
would be great.
yeah, so we're excited for that, thankful for that.
Does it
Um,
seem like it's gonna like is it cloudy or anything?
it's getting cloudy and
Oh, good.
in the morning it was sunny, but it said like towards the evening tonight is when the rain's gonna start. So
Oh, okay.
definitely it got more cloudier all of a sudden. So I think it will. So that'll be nice because we need it, and hopefully that just kind of puts out all of the fires.
That would be great.
Gives some humidity to the air a little bit too. So we'll see. But other than that, not much going on this week. Honestly, the stories for today, meh,
Me.
not a lot
That's
going on
okay.
in anybody's lives these days.
I
Um,
swear, we're just all trying to survive, okay? So if you're trying to survive, we get it. We get you. I'm trying to set up like stuff for the baby kind of. I know it's early and it may not be a good idea, but it's like I just need to do things now while I'm indoors
yeah.
because I got a full-on garden to handle when the weather gets good. And I need my kid to be outside because we usually spend most our days outside, but the winter is
Yeah,
a different beast. Arkham definitely still goes outside a lot, but I'm like, it's so cold. Stop opening the door. Our bill's gonna be $1 million.
I know.
Um,
No. I do.
so so yeah, it's okay if you're just surviving. We're right here with you, surviving.
We're getting through it. Should we get into the stories?
I'm ready.
Okay. Just an update about the Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni situation. There's not a lot of updates, but we haven't really heard from Justin Baldoni's wife. Her name's Emily.
But she's not like famous per se. Like she's not an actress or
I don't think so. I don't know who she is. She didn't look familiar either. So they pretty much say Justin Baldoni's wife, Emily Baldoni, has shared her first comments about her husband since his legal battle with Blake Lively began in December. But she didn't really share any comments when I looked into it. She pretty much is just she made
sharing support.
a happy birthday post for him. And she said, "Happy birthday, my love," on Instagram alongside a photo of the two kissing by the ocean while hugging and carrying their kids, Maya and Maxwell, celebrating the man, husband, and father that you are. I choose you again and again.
Hmm.
So pretty much just people are saying like, okay, she's standing by her man, which I wouldn't think anything otherwise, you know?
I don't think there's any evidence out there that's like, oh my God, he's a creep. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's like,
they just released like behind the scenes footage of something that Blake Lively was saying was part of like her allegations that it was really hard for me to understand. That there was a scene where like the cameras were rolling and he was being too much or something like that and he like dragged his lips down her neck and whatever, but it like wasn't part of the thing, so like they didn't have any mics on so nobody could hear that this happened. It was, so pretty much saying like, oh, nobody else heard it, like I can only be the one to only say that it happened because nobody else heard it, but it was happening. Then that footage got released and they did have mics on. So you can hear what they're saying. And they're recording like an intimate, like
scene.
kind of like slow dancing, but just kind of like, with each other. It's like an intimate scene, but I don't think there's any script to it. Like there's no
Yeah.
word. So, they're just he's like talking to her like in the moment just as themselves, but she's also like talking back and they're both on the same wavelength. So it's just like, and he doesn't drag his lips. I mean, he's close, but it's like an intimate scene where they're
Yeah.
supposed to be like, and he even says like, because, he's like part director or whatever. He's like, let's just get close enough where like our lips are like close, but like we don't actually kiss, but just like give off that vibe. So now what I'm seeing is people are saying that this is not about Blake Lively and this is not about Justin Baldoni, but it's about Ryan Reynolds.
What?
Because I guess somebody that was on set gave an inside scoop and pretty much said like Ryan Reynolds didn't show up until I don't know if it was that scene or whatever scene, but he like went to set with her one day out of nowhere. And then all of a sudden after that,
He was going to set.
things started getting weird. He started going to set all the time and he started trying to direct and like change the script and like go
Which
here
is
and there.
inappropriate. Like if
So
you are like at
inappropriate.
work and Jamil's like showing up and being like, nope, you can't come in her office right now, it's closed. Like what?
Yeah.
No, you're
So
fired.
exactly. So they're pretty much saying that Ryan Reynolds got maybe jealous of what he saw, but like they're acting. They're
And she
acting.
is like hot stuff on camera and he's like
No.
flirty. So here's what I was gonna say. What was going on in my mind before you said the Ryan Reynolds thing? I had in my head, maybe she's feeling Like he doesn't seem like her type. He does not seem like anybody that he'd actually be interested in. He would not date her. He would not flirt with her, right? So I was thinking maybe she feels like rude. He's not into me, like a self-righteous thing. And then my other thought was um maybe her significant other is jealous because they don't like when people act so close together because sometimes they end up
Right.
cheating or
We see
getting
that all the
together.
time. Hmm.
So
So that's the big inside scoop. None of it has been confirmed, obviously, but there's people that were on set that are pretty much just saying, like, from what it seems like, this is more like it was Ryan Reynolds' problem about what was
which
happening.
cringe if that's true, like
Mhm.
cringe because I love him, but what the hell?
So we'll see if anything else comes out. But um that video was released. So after we're done, you should look it up just to see like what she was saying happened versus what happened. And he is close to her and he is kind of in her neck, but it's like
Not a
I
day.
don't understand because I'm like, you're acting. So like
Yeah, it's not like you're in your trailer breastfeeding and he's coming over trying to kiss your neck. Like, then it's like,
and
ew,
right. So then I'm also like, okay, well, even if in this scene he did like drag his lips down her neck,
it's a
it seems
scene.
appropriate for the scene. Like I wouldn't be like, oh, that was too much.
Creep.
It's just like so odd. I don't know what to think of it. I still don't know. Like, I'm not
Whose
really
side?
choosing sides. Yeah, because something comes out like every week. And
You
it's,
would think that like some evidence would come out and then the courts would literally be like, okay, this is stupid. We're dropping it. You're both dumb.
yeah, like what are we
It's
doing
a waste
here?
of our time.
Yeah.
The other thing I was gonna say about it is I did run into it on Netflix the other day. I literally didn't know it was it. And then I was like, what is this? And then I was like, oh my God, they're both. And I was like, this is it.
Oh, it's
But I
on Netflix.
didn't watch it. It's
I
on
know that.
Netflix now.
Hmm. I
So
didn't
if
know that.
anybody's wanting to watch it and you haven't, I
Yeah.
don't know if
It
I
was
will,
really
but
cute. Um, however, I watched it before the drama kind of took off. I think it'd
I'm
be weird to
curious.
watch it now, but I mean,
I'm curious. I would like you to watch it again and see what you have to say.
when I watched it, there was already like this whole thing about like, oh, they don't get along, but there was no real reason like why. It was just like everybody knew there was
Something's
like
odd.
drama. Yeah, but the details didn't come out yet. So, I don't know. I still liked it. Um, it just sucks when you know that like they don't like each other in real life. But and I read the book, so I really wanted to watch it, but the book was way better. Um, but it was cute and I think it does portray like the pattern of domestic violence in
Mhm.
relationships and that it's not always easy to just get up and leave the first time or the second time or the third time. So I think they do a pretty good job at that because, most of those partners are like pretty manipulative. And if you haven't experienced it or you're not in it, to you it could seem like, well, if they do something bad to you, just leave. But it's not always that easy, especially when it's like the character that Justin Baldoni plays. He's like a surgeon, he's fit, he's good looking.
Mm.
So it's not like it's like this bum, like
Yeah.
alcoholic, where it's like, okay, obviously serious issues. It's like, oh my God, I made a mistake. I'm so sorry. I would never do that to you. Things like, oh yeah, yeah. And you're just like, okay, like obviously you love this person, you try to be understanding. So I think it did a really good job at portraying it like that because I feel like most situations it'll show like, oh, like shows and movies like, oh, they're a drug addict or they're an alcoholic or they're a low life and but he's actually like this successful like great guy. So I would say watch it. Just
Here's
watch.
my question. Who do you think was better in the movie? Whose performance was better, hers or his?
His.
Oh,
Just because I hate that they casted her as this girl because in the book it is
she doesn't
not
match.
Bible. Like it does not match at all. at all. So I wasn't really a fan of that choice. Not that I'm not a fan of her. I
Didn't
feel like,
fit
mhm. I mean, he wasn't really
what
who
you
I
imagined
wanted,
either.
but a little bit more, I guess. I don't know. The whole cast was shit. They did not match it good.
Read the book.
Yeah. So, because like in the book, she has like red hair, and Blake Lively doesn't have red hair, but they kind of gave her like a reddish hair. I don't know. It's not good. But yeah, so that's the update. That's the tea on the feud. Um, the other story, which there wasn't a lot to go off of, so I chose this one because I just feel like I keep seeing this a lot, and we're only on what day is it? We're only 25 days into the year. Um, you know that song Walk It Out and Two Step? Walk it out, walk it
Yeah,
out. Rapper DJ Unk died
I
at
didn't.
40.
I had no idea who sung that song.
Mm-hmm.
Was he a one-hit wonder?
I don't think so because I think he had a few, but he died at 43. They said it is with a heavy heart and profound sadness that we announce the passing of a true ATL legend, Anthony Platt, better known as DJ Unk. His former record label wrote in
Oh.
a Friday, January 24th Instagram statement on behalf of Big Oomp Records and the Bohr family. We extend our deepest condolences to his family, friends, and the countless fans who were touched by his artistry and spirit. The cause of death has not been released yet,
Mm.
but I just feel like, and I almost looked it up, that every time I'm looking up celebrity news for the week, somebody's died. And I don't know what, and it's like young, people are young.
That's awful.
I know. So I don't know. I thought that was sad. I like those songs.
They're old school. I did the other morning, the other day when I was driving by myself to take Greta to the vet. Oh yeah, that's also something else that happened. Greta had a like suture sticking out of her stomach, so I had to take her to the vet from being fixed. So I took her by myself because Arkham didn't want to go and he was home. So I was like, okay, let's go, Greta. But I was like, I put on like 2000s hits.
Uh,
I was like, I'm feeling it.
love. Yeah,
And
he
it's
did Walk It
crazy
Out.
to
Mm-hmm.
think that like those people have been popular for like over 20 years. Like the Rihanna songs, I'm like, oh my God, she's still like putting out hits like crazy.
I know. She had such good songs.
I
I love Rihanna.
know. Disturbia, Umbrella.
Umbrella. Um, yeah, he did the song Walk It Out, Two Step, Hit the Dance Floor.
Oh,
Mhm. Um,
crazy.
Hold On Ho. I don't know that one.
I don't think I know that one.
Yeah, those are the ones I recognize. Um, okay, final story. I thought this was interesting because I thought it could go into an interesting topic. Bill Gates says he believes he would be diagnosed with autism if he were a kid today. Um, Bill Gates
Huh.
believes he would have been diagnosed with autism if he were a kid today in an interview with the Wall Street Journal published on Friday, January 24th, ahead of the February 4th release of his debut memoir, Source Code. Gates, who's 69, reflected on some of his childhood traits he believes would be diagnosed as autism today. This whole thing of Asperger's or on the spectrum is a fairly new thing, you know. It used to be autism had a fairly narrow definition that was, clearly identifiable, said Gates. But this idea that if you're slow socializing, I have a behavior where I rock that bothers people, but that's also common so-called self-esteeming type thing. So I realized, wow, there's a bit of a pattern match there. He continued, according to the nonprofit Autism Speaks, autism or autism spectrum disorder refers to a broad range of conditions characterized by challenges with social skills, repetitive behaviors, speech, and nonverbal communication. Asperger's is a previously used
Yeah, I was like,
diagnosis
that's
on
not
the
available anymore.
Gates' belief Gates' belief that he would have been diagnosed with autism at an early age is one of the many things he addresses about his childhood in Source Code, his memoir, per the Wall Street Journal. The Microsoft co-founder and former CEO told the newspaper that he now looks at those traits as something that helped get him to where he is today. Looking back on that, because I didn't behave in a standard way, and yet, that deep concentration that got applied to math and science and eventually to all those programming experiences I had, that became a strength, he said. When asked if his parents, Bill Sr. and Mary Maxwell, worried about him at a young age, Gates opened up about how they helped foster his special traits. They worried about would I fit in, said Gates. The two things they did, one, send me to a therapist who got me thinking about how I applied my energy, and then sending me to a really great school. Those were great for me. Um, yeah, that's pretty much all I said.
So he probably, I mean, it sounds like he does have autism. One. Second of all, uh, I feel like a lot of people either feel uh defensive or like offended by the like broad range of autism. And it's like we're not saying, or at least people that know are not saying that autism kids are brilliant because
You're
they have the focus, because they have, they're able to focus and their mind works so differently. I think it's ridiculous. Of course, there is challenges for parents, especially with like an autistic nonverbal. That's really hard.
Mhm.
But I feel a lot of the time, I mean, I nannied for a boy who was autistic, and his mom got him help. EIC, early intervention centers. Early intervention is the key, and they can live. I mean, he's in typical developing classes, which is great for him. And
Mhm.
yeah, maybe he struggles a little bit, but he's gonna be fine. However, I will agree, like being weird and like how your mind works is a great thing. Like that's something I encourage with Arkham, and that's why I want to homeschool because I don't want him. A lot of people are like, oh, homeschool kids don't go to college, blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, a lot of the time they go into trades because it's better, more money right away. And also my kid's probably going to own a business that kids that went to school will work for him, Like Steve Harvey
Right.
says, I don't have a college degree, but I hire those people to work for me. I'm like, yeah, exactly.
Ah, yeah, definitely.
So, and Elon Musk, I mean, that's what I saw a video of his dad saying that like in school they pretty much told him like, oh, he's the R word, like horrible word. Um
Oh, I believe it. Did you see him at the inauguration?
he's so awkward, but
He for sure, everybody's like, oh, he for sure is on the spectrum. But it's funny because I saw this video of Elon Musk standing next to Trump's son, Barron. Is that his name?
oh, the little
Like
boy, yeah.
tall one.
I mean, that's his youngest son. Okay, my phone's
But
being
he's
blown
like
up.
super tall. He's like 7 feet tall or something.
He is? I thought he
Yeah.
was like 12 years old.
Uh,
Let's see. But I know that's his youngest son.
18.
He is? Oh my God. I'm
And
I'm out.
he's 18 and he's 6'7".
Jeez.
Yeah, so you notice him when he walks through the room. He's tall.
Is he
But
like
there's a
attractive?
video, he just looks like a basic white kid. Um, there's this video of Elon Musk and Barron standing next to each other, and it says like two types of autism because Barron is very like no expression, just very like, and there's like clapping going on, and he's just like, and then Elon Musk is like,
Really dancing.
I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, that's such a good like portrayal because
The
yeah,
dancing was terrible.
when he got on stage and he was like It just took me out. It took me out. I was like, oh my God. There was also this video that freaked me out. Some people are saying it was AI though, and I could believe it was AI because I was like, if that is really Elon Musk doing that, like that is freaky. And he's like sitting in the crowd and he's like, and his eyes are like going in a circle and he's like this.
But that could also be autistic stemming.
Right, but it looked great. The
Creepy.
eyes looked crazy. He was like, and they were like, oh, Elon Musk is reprogramming or something. And I was like, oh my God. But then so we were like, that is AI. That's AI. And I was like, okay, like it could pass for both, which is
I am
scary.
so I really think that like videos, I know this makes me seem old, but I feel like videos and pictures need to have a freaking like copyright label on them. Or like not
Yeah,
copyright, but like a
totally.
stamp on them that if they're AI, because it's like this is getting ridiculous. Also, I'm seeing a bunch of like weird AI stuff on my Instagram because sometimes I'll show Arkham like a few animal videos. And then apparently other people that follow me have like these videos of like this big chubby orange cat. And it's like AI and it's like kneading dough and then like making pasta. And so now my whole like feed is that. And I'm like, what? I don't want to see any of this.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
So
So I don't know. So that just made me think of that because how Bill Gates was saying, like it used to be like, oh, it's this, and this, and that determines if you're autistic. But really, it's like such a range of things. Um, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I've Googled, am I autistic when I'm laying in bed and I can't go to sleep. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I am kind of weird sometimes. And like, you never know. And like, so I was like, am I autistic? I think I took a test, an online quiz. It said no. But, there's just so many things that's like, oh, that's a trait of autism. And I'm like, well, I do that.
there's like very obvious signs. Like here's what I'm gonna say. I know somebody that has a child that's severely autistic and they completely deny it. And it's really sad because they could get help and
Mhm.
really like it's not about being normal. Like I think that's what too many people are like, well, I don't care if they're not normal. It's like it's not about being normal. It's
Mhm.
about them being able to function in daily life and not be struggling. Like how hard is that for them? How sad is that that like you
No.
can't touch your child's hair without them crying and screaming, and then they've got it's just, where they can't eat certain foods because they're so freaked out. It's like it doesn't matter about my kid being normal, but I don't want them to go through that struggle. That's sad.
Yeah, and it's gonna be really hard, like in society, like everything is gonna be really difficult. And if you don't know a lot about autism, a good show to watch is called Atypical. Because it's a cute, like lighthearted show. And it's about this boy who's autistic. And he has like a sister, and like, he's trying to go out on dates and stuff, but he sees his therapist like on a weekly basis. And it shows like what goes on in that like early intervention. I mean, he's like in high school, I think, so it's not super early. But it kind of shows what goes on in that intervention and why it's so important because she will like, talk to him about like, okay, what's going on? Like, what was your day like today? What's your week been like? And then he'll tell her about it and she'll help him like navigate situations and be like, okay, so like maybe they kind of or like, oh, they stopped talking to you because when they said this and then you responded like that, like that's not like a response that you should give to somebody because you have to think about their feelings, like things like that. Like he doesn't notice that because that's not how his brain's working. um but she tries to like help him be like, okay, so they were saying that in a joking way. That's a joke. So, and she'll try to like relate. And he's like, oh, okay, because he takes things very literal.
Right.
So it even shows like when his dad tries to connect with him and like makes a joke, and then he's like, why would I do that? You can't do that. Like, and he's like, oh, I'm just joking. And he's like, oh. But so it's a cute show. And I watched some of it when it first came out because it came out a few years ago. I really liked it and it helps you see from that perspective.
I also love Love on the Spectrum.
Yes, it's so
It's
cute.
cute. I love Abby.
Yeah, she's adorable. She's like going on podcast interviews. She's
She's
killing it.
crushing it.
She is
Okay,
killing.
well, do we want to move into hot topic?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna say. The French fry thing, go vote because I messed up. I had issues with uploading, and my husband pointed out that there was no poll most of the week. So I left it up for longer. So maybe
Okay.
on our like bonus or next week's
Yeah.
we'll bring up. But this week's hot topic is what do you dip your fry of choice into? What's your
Okay, let's say it at the same time. One, two, three, ranch.
ranch? Um, I am not opposed to like honey mustard.
Yeah, me either.
Uh, I love a pesto. They used to have, speaking of our French fry dates at Red Robin, they used to have pesto and ranch. Yum.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not opposed to those either.
But if we're being honest, the only answer
Yeah.
here is ranch.
Ranch, ranch, ranch,
So if
ranch.
you don't know ranch, just kidding, my kid hates ranch.
I know I'm not a huge fan of ranch.
You're not a mayonnaise. Has that changed? You were never a mayonnaise person.
Yeah, I'm not dipping my fries in mayonnaise.
Well,
Okay.
no,
I
but
put it in
Dolly,
my sandwiches and like I'll put in my tuna and like stuff like that, but I'm not using it as a dip.
well, Dollies. We will make sure you vote on the polls, French fries and dipping, and we'll see you next week. Actually, we'll have a bonus episode this week.
Yeah, we'll
So
see you
keep
in a
your
few
eyes out
days.
for Wednesday. We'll see you in a few